Hello everyone, this is Raj from TechFerment, and in this video I'm going to talk about Express.js. So in the previous video we have created a simple server with the help of Node.js HTTP module. So now I'll talk about Express.js. With the help of Express.js, you can create a robust backend applications, or you can create a robust REST APIs with the help of Express.js, and this will give you a lot of functionalities that you can use while creating a backend applications. So first I'll create a simple node application. So I'll go to the terminal, and then here we have a first step is we need to type npm init for initializing the node.js application. And then here you can define the package name. So I'll skip this one part. So you can skip all these things. So we have a package.json file, and then we have a entry file, which entry file name is index.js. And first what I do, I'll install nodemon because we need to restart the server. So how we can install npm install hyphen save nodemon. Okay, so with the help of this nodemon you can restart your server automatically. So I will install nodemon. Here we will add script start one, and here we can pass nodemon index.js. So we have index.js as an entry file. So I'll save and I will create index.js as an entry file. Now I will install Express module because we need to use Express.js for creating a REST APIs. So I'll type the command here in the command section, or you can use clear for clearing this one, and just type npm I, or you can type install hyphen save, and then here you can mention Express. You can get all the details about Express.js. You just need to go to the Google and just search Express.js, and here we have a website, this expressjs.com. So I'll click on this one, and then we have a steps like how we can install Express.js. So first you need to run this particular command. Now I have installed my Express.js. So first we have an index.js file. So first we will import Express. So here we will write const express is equal to require. So I'll write require, inside we will pass express. Okay, now we will create an application. So I'll write app is equal to express. So with the help of this one you can create Express.js applications. Now we need to use app.get. So we want to use get request. So we have a get request, and this is a URL, and then here we need to pass the functions. So here we have a function which will take as a request and response request from the server. I'll write this one. Okay, so request came from the browser, and we will send the response to the server end. So here we can mention response dot send. Okay, so here you can write hello. Now what I do here will define the port number. So with the help of app.listen, and this is a syntax, here we are passing the callback functions, and then we have a status code. So what I do, this is a simple application Express.js. So here I'll run this particular project. So we'll run this command npm start. So I will run this command, and we'll go to the browser. So we have a browser, and then we'll type localhost colon 3000, and this will give me the hello. So here you can change the message. So let's say I'll type hello world, and I will save, and it will automatically restart the server with the help of nodemon, and you are getting this particular. So it's totally up to you how you can use that. So we have a base URL. So now I'll add a URL, let's say about, and here you can pass the message. So this one for about page. Okay, so now what I do, I'll just change the URL, so slash about, and then we are getting this particular message. So with the help of Express.js, you can create a robust applications. Now I'll show you how we can create APIs. So what I'll do here, first we'll write an API. So I'll create APIs for the projects. So first we have a get request, and the path will be, I'll just, yeah. So path will be API slash v1 slash projects. So with the help of this particular API, you will get all the projects. Okay. So here I'll write two tabs and get all projects. Okay. The second API is for getting the single project. So what will be the things like API slash v1 slash projects, and then here you need to pass the ID. So here we have a description, so get single project. And then next command is for the adding the data into the database. So we have a post APIs. So here we'll write API slash v1 slash projects slash nothing, and then here you can use create or add project. Next API is for put API for updating a content. So here will be the path API slash v1 slash projects slash ID, and then here you can write the description about this particular API update project. And the next API is for deleting. So here we have a delete request, and the path will be API slash v1 slash projects slash ID, and here we will remove project. Okay, so we will create these APIs with the help of these requests. So first one is get all projects. I'll copy this one and add a comment. So here we have a comment, and then how we can do that, app dot get. So here we have a app dot get because this is a get request, and this will be the URL. So I'll just pass this URL here, and we can send a response. So here we'll write response dot send, and generally API will give you the response as a JSON. So you can use response.json as a method, and before pass response to the JSON, here you can pass the status. So here we can pass the status. Let's say status is 200, and here you can pass the JSON. Let's say success is equal to true, and here you can mention the data. So here we can mention like all projects. Okay, and this is a simple API we have created. Now I will go to the browser, and then I'll run API slash v1 slash projects, and I'm getting this particular response. But this is not a right way for testing these APIs, so we'll use Postman. Postman is a tool where you can create or develop the APIs, and this will give you the development environment. So I have already installed no Postman. This is a Postman. Here you can log in your account, and then we have a plus symbol, and here you can pass the request. So here my request name is local host, or here you can mention http colon slash slash local host call 3000 as a port number slash, and then what will be the path API slash v1 slash projects. Okay, so this is a path, and here we have a get request, and I'll just call this request, and here we are getting this data. So this is how we can create a API, get APIs, and this will give you the project details, all project details. Now what I'll do right now, we have used this port number as a static, so you can change the port number. So there is another things like we have another module in Node.js. We have a .env as a module. You can this .env as a module for defining an environment variable, and you can pass this .environment variable as a port number. So I'll just go to the Google and then just type .env. So we have a website for npm.env. So I'll click on this one, and then we have a documentation. So we have installation process. So we have a command.env. So I'll click on this particular command, and I'll go to the new terminal, and I will paste here the command, this one, npm I dot env. So here I'll type this one, and I want to store this node module in my local this particular project directory, or you can mention I or install, it's totally up to you. So I'll install .NET, and here we have a documentation how we can use .NET .env. So like first we need to import we have a documentation. So first we need to import .env as a module. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this one, and here we have a .env. So I'll just import const, and here we'll write .env. Next we have to defining the path. So how we can define, so we have a config function, and then we have a documentation. So I'll just copy and I will paste it here. I'll write .env, and then here we'll pass this one part. Okay, so now I'll create a folder. So I'll create a folder, name is config, and inside config I will pass config.env. See, okay, so this is the environmental variable. Here you can define the port number. So here I'll write a port number, and let's say my port number is 3000. So I will save, and this is the index.js file. I will link this particular URL. So I'll write /, then we have a config. Inside config we have a file name is config.env. Okay, so now we have added this environment variable file. So now we can collect the value. So I'll write const port is equal to, here we'll write process dot env dot the variable name. So my variable name is where we have a port number. So here we have a port number. If there is any port number, so we can get the port number. Otherwise you can mention the port number, let's say 3000. Okay, and you can pass this port number. So I'll just copy this variable, and you can pass here, and here we have a string. So here we'll pass this one port. Okay, so now I'll just close this terminal, and I will reload the page, and it's working properly. And here we have defined environment variable. So here you can define the APIs and configuration file whenever we are working on MongoDB. So here we will pass the MongoDB string for the connection, and we will use this string from in this particular file. Okay, so we have created a simple APIs for get all projects. So we'll create another API for get single projects. So here we'll write get single project request is app.get. There will be a get request, and here this will be the path. So I'll just copy this particular path, and I will paste it here. And this ID should be dynamic because we will pass the ID from this particular URL. So ID will be maybe number. So let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 or anything. So this will consider as a variable, and then we can get the data, this particular ID. So here we can send a response. First we'll send a status. So let's say I'll pass status as a 200, and then we'll pass JSON as an object. So here we have a JSON as an object. We'll pass success is equal to true, and then here you can pass the data. So here we'll mention project data whose ID is, here you can pass, here you can get the ID. So how we can get this particular ID? We are getting this particular ID from the browser end. Browser end means request, and then inside request we have a params as an object. Inside we have a ID. Okay, so this is a ID. So you can change the variable name. So you need, here you need to change the variable name. It's totally up to you. So we have created another API. So I'll just go to the Postman, and then I will copy this particular path, and I'll click on plus symbol, and then here we'll pass the number. So let's say 3434 or something, and I'll call the request, and then we are getting the data, project data whose ID is this. So next we will create another API for add project. So this is a add project. So this will be the URL. So I'll add here add project, and we will use app.postman post Okay, because we need to use post method for adding a data, and this will be the URL. And here first we need to collect the data which will be coming from the browser end. What data should be we need to add? So how we can collect the data? So first we can collect the data is equal to request. So we are getting this particular request object. Inside we have a body. Okay, so here you can get the data. Now you can send a response. So we'll write response dot status, and here you can pass the status, and then here you can send the JSON, and then here you can mention success is equal to true, and here you can pass the data. So let's say project edit. Okay, or you can pass the data like data edit. So you can change the value, it's totally up to you. You can pass this particular data. Okay, and here you can mention the comma. Okay, this one is just for the testing purpose. So I'll create a API. So I'll go to the postman, and then here we will go to the plus symbol, and then this will be the request. So URL will be this one, and here we'll pass this particular URL. So I'll just remove this part, and I'll go to the post because we are using post request, and then we'll go to the body, and inside body we have a section for the raw, and then here we will select JSON, and here we will pass the JSON data. So let's say I'm passing this data, project name, we have a project name, and then we have a project description. So I'll write this is description, and I will send this request, and it will go to the request. So here we have a data edit, but we are not getting this as an object because we need to use here one more module which is name is body parser. So I'll just go to the website. Here we'll write body parser npm. Okay, so this is the middleware we use. This is a simple npm module. With the help of this particular module you will get the data from the client exactly. So you need this middleware. So I'll just copy this middleware, and I will install this particular middleware. So I'll go to the new terminal, and here we'll tap the command, and then we need to use save, and this body parser module will install in our system. And then we have a documentation. So I'll just go to the website and scroll down, and then we have a uses. So first we need to import the body parser. So I'll just import the body parser. Here we'll write const, and then body parser is added. The next part you have to use this one. So I'll just copy this one. So here I will add this one, and then we have to pass the application for the JSON file. So here we have passed the application for the JSON file. So now we can send the request. So whenever we are sending a request, so here we are getting a data. So we need to use this body parser as a middleware, and what is a middleware we'll talk about in upcoming videos. So we have created three APIs. First one is get all project, get single project, add project, and then we'll create another API for update project. So here we'll create another API for update project. So for updating we have to use put request. So we'll write app.put. Okay, so this is the syntax, and then this id will be dynamic. So here we'll write colon. So here we'll get the updated data. So here we have updated data is equal to, you can collect the data from the request from body, and then here you can mention like response dot status. Here you can pass the status, and then here we have a JSON, and inside you can pass the JSON. So here let's say I'll write success true, and then here you can pass the data like project updated. Whose id is, how you can get the id? So you can get the id from the response request that params dot id. Okay, So we have created another API for updating a data. So we have a postman, so I'll just copy the URL and I'll go to the another request. I will paste it here, and then we have a request is put request. So I'll go to the body, then we have a raw, and then we have a JSON, and here we can pass the updated data. So let's say I want to change the project name to project name 1. Okay, so I'll pass the ID. So here we have ID, let's say this one ID, and then we'll send this particular request, and then I'll just check update host v1 save, and then put request localhost v1 projects, and here we can pass the data, and I will call the API once again. Cannot put the request. So I'll check what is the mistake. Yeah, so here we have a space. I'll just remove this particular space, and when we call this API, we are getting this particular data. Okay, so now next part is we will create a API for the removing the project. So I'll just copy the comment, and I will add the comment here, and we will write dot delete, because we need to use delete request. Inside we need to pass the URL, so this will be the URL. So I'll just copy this URL and I will paste it URL here, and this ID should be dynamic. And then here you can pass the response dot status. Here you can pass the status, let's say 200, and then you can share the JSON, and inside JSON let's say success is equal to true, and then you can pass the message like project remove whose ID is plus request. You can get the ID. So the ID is coming from the request as a JavaScript object from the browser, and then we have a params. Inside we have a ID. So we have another API for removing your project. So I'll just copy this API, and I will go to the another request, and I will paste it here, and then I'll go to the delete request, and then we'll call this API, and then we are getting this particular data. So project remove whose ID is this one. Okay, so that's how we can create APIs. So we have created simple APIs. I'll remove this one part, and here we have created simple APIs where we can get all the projects. We can get single project, we can get add the project, we can update the project, and we can delete the project. And similarly you can create another APIs for the users, like get all users, get single users, add user, update user, and then delete user. And if you are adding these all the path in this particular file, this is not a right approach. So what I'll do here, I'll create another file folder in the root directory. So I'll create another folder name is routes. So inside routes you can create a route for the projects. Let's say we have an API for the projects. I'll write projects.js. So what I'll do, I'll just cut this entire path here. We will cut this entire path, and I will paste it here. Okay, now this app is not identified, so I'll just copy the Express. First we need to import Express here, and then we need to create an app. So here we'll just copy this one part, and I will paste it here. Okay, so now app is able to, we can get the app. So we can replace the app. So we can replace the app with router. So you can do anything. So if we have replaced the app with router as a keyword, and this will work as a JavaScript module. So how we can import the module. So I'll write module.exports is equal to router. Okay, and this will work as a JavaScript module. So we can import this module here. So what I'll do here, write import route. Okay, so here how we can write import the route. So here write const projects is equal to require. So I'll just copy this require, and inside we need to pass the path. So we have a routes. Inside routes we have a projects. So now we need to use the route. How we can use? So you have to use app.use as a method, and inside we need to pass the URL, and the route name. Okay, so here we can pass the URL. So let's say I'll pass the URL, let's say API slash v1 slash projects. Okay, so this path is common. If this particular path is coming from the URL, so we'll call this particular route, and inside route we can remove this particular common path because we have mentioned this common path in the parent section. So I'll just remove this common path. So I'll remove this one, and then once again, and yeah, so we'll remove this one, and here we'll add for add project and for getting all the project. Okay, so this is how we can create a separate route for the API. So we have an API for the projects, and this will be the base URL. So if this particular base URL will be there, so we need to call this particular route. Inside route, this will check after this URL if there is a single URL. So it means if there is a get request with this particular URL, so we'll call get all the projects, and with the ID with the get, so we can get the single project. So this is how we can do that. So I'll save, and I'll call the Postman APIs once again. So we have a first tab for getting all the projects. So I will save, identify the port number. I'll just close this one, and we will call the APIs once again, and we are getting not response. So I'll just copy, I'll check this one. Okay, so path is projects. I'll just remove the S, and now I'll call the APIs, and we are getting the data. So this one is for single projects, and we are getting the data. This one is for adding data, and this one is for the update one, and this one is for the delete one. So this is how we can create a REST APIs with the help of Express.js. And in the next video, I'll talk about middlewares and how we can integrate Firebase as a database in this particular APIs. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.